You have to watch a spring sunrise over a prairie chicken booming ground to really appreciate the Illinois prairie. Watching these magnificent birds performing an ancient ritual, territorial rite on a prairie knoll, all at once you understand where the American Indian got his dances. The Illinois prairie has many voices, but the booming of a prairie chicken on a frosty morning is its most stirring. Add the cry of the sandhill crane and the magnificent clanging of migrating geese, and it is nature calling to nature, remembering the rich Illinois heritage. The Illinois prairie passed mostly under the plow by the 1880s, never to emerge again. For once its thick foot systems were penetrated and broken, what came back in its place was Eurasian weeds. This is Goose Lake Prairie, the last large prairie in Illinois or any of the surrounding prairie states. Its persistence, almost 100 years after the prairie disappeared elsewhere, is so miraculous that it occasioned the meeting on the prairie of a number of prominent citizens and state officials to decide whether the prairie would be turned into an industrial complex or preserved as a state park. It was the decision of William L. Rutherford, Director of Conservation for the state, that it should become not only a state park, but Illinois' most important and well-developed state park. This is what Goose Lake Prairie looks like from the air, reminding one of the green landscape of East Africa. At one end, a number of small ponds make up the complex known as Goose Lake itself. If you look at these ponds from the air, you can notice a certain zonation of plants as they march out into the open water, indicating the great orderliness of nature. Usually the pioneer plant is bulrush, followed by cattail and reeds and sedges, and a definite succession. Of course, the tendency of these ponds to fill up and become prairie itself is countered by the activities of muskrats feeding on the roots of aquatic plants and keeping the pond open. So it is in a constant state of dynamic equilibrium. Occasionally, in the center of one of these ponds, we see the muskrat house, which it makes out of dead cattails, and there's one there. The ponds, of course, are a wonder world for wildfowl, which can nest in them and be completely undisturbed. We see the prairie here from the air in early summer, before the riot of blooming, which will come later, has yet appeared. Although, to be truthful, there is a good deal of blooming which can't be seen from the helicopter. As a matter of fact, the kaleidoscope of blooming plants waves across the prairie from spring through fall. There are a number of very interesting prairie birds, the dickcissel and the bobolink. There's the male bobolink that sings. The female is a rather quiet little creature. Here she is here. The 13-line spermophile is one of the prominent mammals of the prairie, and the common mole, seen digging out of sight here, is another. Note the steam shovel front feet of the common mole. The prairie is a lot more than simply grasses. It is, in fact, as I said, a kaleidoscope of flower color from one end of the year to the other. In the fall, you may see the New England aster, or the blazing star, or gay feather, blooming right alongside of the more familiar fall flower, the goldenrod. But in spring you see entirely different species, like the blue-eyed grass, or the shooting star that we're zooming in on here, or the bird's foot violet. In summer you may get obedient plant, seen in close up here, or the magnificent black-eyed Susan, or St. John's wort. Or flowering spurge. Here's a group of teachers coming into the prairie on a field trip of the Chicago Academy of Sciences, and they are seeing such plants as the wild bergamot, or the dogbane, or the evening primrose. And there is a hidden world of camouflage down in amongst the grasses, with numerous insects trying to imitate grasses and leaves to avoid being eaten. Goose Lake itself, bordered by these arrow leaves, is a wonder world. A world of birds and insects, with the coot and the gallinule, the blue-winged teal, and the mallard, various rails, all nest hidden among its reeds and sedges. Here we see the great blue heron. A magnificent bird with a 6-foot wingspread. And here is the wood duck. And the little black bird, the female much less conspicuous than the male, anxious to get down to her nest in among the cattails. The plan would be to develop the pond portion with elevated boardwalks, as has been done at Everglades National Park, so that the gallinule and the coot could be seen by the public without disturbing them. Birds quickly become used to these boardwalks and pay no attention to people whatever. It would be like walking into a Walt Disney film. It is possible, of course, to enlarge the boardwalk at certain areas to provide an open-air museum explaining what is going on at this particular place. The prairie has been a boon to television crews trying to reproduce the Illinois landscape for the Illinois sesquicentennial year. It was the only place where the original prairie landscape could have been reproduced. The calamagrostis, or blue joint grass, the puccoon, silky dogwood are all plants of the prairie. In the fall, the prairie takes on a richer coloration with the ripening of the various prairie grasses. The Indian grass, Sargastrum nutans, the turkey foot, or big blue stem, Andropogon gerardi, here seen in close-up with a stink bug. This is the cordgrass, used to thatch roofs in the pioneer days. Here's a group of Northwestern University ecology students, and it is people, above all, who will get the greatest use out of the prairie. It is a link with the Illinois past and with the deeper heritage of man going far back. For nature is beautiful to man. It is the inspiration for all his art and culture, and he cannot long be without it.